Well, today I sip coffee in my PJs while scanning bills online in the early morning and watching CNN on the news hound, in addition to being a rock hound. But it gets my brain engaged. And by this year's end, I'll be dreaming of horizons, not hearings. Changes I've experienced include working alongside new CLAC leaders and delegates, new legislators, new staff, and new lobbyists, whose ranks have increased from 300 in 1992 to more than 1,400 today. Damn special interests. But the legion of new recruits has its benefits. Now these young ones hold the door for me, call me sir and Mr. Dong, and think I know more because of my graying hair. But as you can imagine, stress accumulates when hearings on bills commence, yet that showtime always drove me on to win. There sure were some funny times too. Listen to this one. Like the time I escaped an Assemblywoman's office by scrambling out her window onto a patio rooftop in order to avoid being seen by one of our erstwhile opponents, whose bill the Assemblywoman and I had just gutted and amended with your language. Trapped up there, I appeared on another legislator's private office window, tapped on it, and said, "Can I come in?" You should have seen the look on his face. And I was ready for the sergeant-at-arms to arrest me. Another memory was after midnight when I needed one more vote, just one. As the senator exited the hearing room to go to the men's room, I followed right along and made the pitch. He turned to me and said, "Man, no wonder they call you the Bulldog." I got his vote and the bill. Another time was leaving the Capitol around 3 a.m. and seeing the springtime flowers in bloom by the moon's bright light. It was one of those psychic reward moments. I had just secured a lot of money from the state budget for children's scoliosis screening over the fierce opposition of the chiropractors, who of course cure everything. Their lobbyists gave up and went home to bed. I stayed. Nothing crooked about it, just persistence. Man, I remember that solo walk amidst the sweet smell of success emitted by those roses. But it's not always as delightful. After securing an amendment into a trade bill over the union's objections, their lobbyist yelled at me in the hallway, "You better watch out, Dom. You're going to get a golf club in the back of your head." Yes, really. So I turned to face the others in the hallway who heard that and proclaimed, "Okay, you all heard that. If anything happens to me, you know who to ask about it." I then went to his bill's author and reported the incident. I told you, lobbying is war. In the midst of 2 FBI sweeps, wiretapping, 7 assembly speakers in 8 years, prison terms for legislators and lobbyists alike, and the shrimp scam, bribery scandal in the Capitol, a legislative staffer was justifiably unnerved when he asked why I wanted to see a certain senator since I was from the CIA. I felt like I really had juice then. No, I'm from the CAI, Community Associations Institute. Oh, yeah, you mean like the Red Cross? That's why I keep saying HOAs. It always works better for me, as many legislators know that term. But then there was my stealthy coup d'etat, when a bill that CLAC opposed was the third try by a related industry group. After a hearing, the bill's author tossed it over to another legislator to carry forward because she was tired of the war. Well, I had a chat with that surrogate legislator's key staff in advance of a meeting with him and the sponsoring group. Sitting next to the bill's new author, I glanced over and saw in his lap the bold print questions and hit points and bullet points that I had supplied his staff hours beforehand. I felt hopeful. And sure enough, when the sponsors of the bill started to talk about the bill, the new author abruptly interrupted, saying, "I'll never forget it. What bill? There is no bill." I think I heard chins drop onto the floor by the proponents. The bill was dead. And I got a wink from the key staffers sitting across the room. The meeting lasted only 4 minutes. I never said a word. Funny how things happen. One more story. This one goes way back to 1993, in fact. It was the first bill Clack asked me to usher through the process. AB 1545 was authored by Democrat Julie Bornstein from Coachella. I was told it was a simple bill, something called the Priority Lien for Dividends. Again, who knew? I think my client was setting me up. Well, as we know, simple things can get complicated and the stress increases. Immediately after one of the hearings, I was in the cardiology department at Mercy Hospital. Carrie didn't even know I was there. I guess it caught up to me. But you'd think I'd be gleeful that I got the votes to pass it in committee. Anyway, as the bill plodded along, barely surviving attacks by a dozen opponents, during the last week of session, again late in the night, Julie and I asked them all to come to her office. There, we negotiated the deal. Instead of 6 months, it would be 2 months to start. We re-entered the hearing room, declared a truce, and the bill passed. Yes, we got all 120 legislators, but we've missed one single person. Governor Wilson vetoed the bill. Frankly, I do regret that we didn't resurrect the bill during the recent recession when we could have had the media on our side. But there will be another day for justice in this area. Perhaps a lawsuit instead of legislation is the best approach. Remember, persist. I'm proud of what we've done together. We've initiated and convened the annual HOA Roundtable among a dozen other lobbying organizations to discuss proposed legislation. We've become the force leader, the only statewide entity fighting for HOAs and their members. You garner respect when you engage by letter writing and calling. For instance, we just got over 600 letters from you and other members in opposition to Assembly Bill 1720. You educate your chapter members. We created the monthly Clack Moment to keep your luncheon attendees informed. Your local board members are forever trying to develop and maintain harmonious communities. Your lawyers have your best interest at heart, as do your managers, CPAs, service vendors, and your individual homeowners are your greatest political strength. You have millions in your army. You need to enlist them. Use them all. Failure to use troops mean you'll surely snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. And count on CAI National. Their policies, resources, and team effort have been so very helpful throughout the years, and many times in an instant notice. In terms of a legacy, I would like to think that we always had the best of intentions, the respect of others, and the organizational strength to maintain your gallant and professional posture in California lawmaking. I trust that the continuity and institutional knowledge that we have will continue to benefit 1 in 4 Californians who own property or reside in homeowners associations. If I had one wish come true, it'd be that you run for state assembly or state senate. We need an HOA promoter to champion our cause inside the building. Check that. I have one other wish. Never give up. Never. Persistence pays off. New legislators, because of term limits, are fertile ground for tilling your issues and arguments. Make them your advocates inside the Capitol building, and empower your grassroots neighbors by sharing Clack information. Don't let the biased and the uninformed get you down. I lovingly thank my family for enduring my 100-hour work weeks. They allowed me to focus on getting your Clack airplane from point A to point B. Rally your troops, draft amendments, plan strategies, and react to emergencies. But beware. Remember to get your head out of the cockpit every so often to see if storm clouds are brewing when your devotion to work gets all consuming. Finally, forgive my co-opting this phrase, but as coach of the Notre Dame football team, Newt Rockne once said, and as Ronald Reagan repeated in the movie All-American, sometime when the team is up against it and the brakes are beating the boys. Tell them to go out there with all they got and win just one for the skipper. Thank you for the trust and confidence you've always had in me. It's meant everything. Thank you.
How do you follow that?
We can dance.
Well, Skip and I have danced before, but as a thank you, small token of appreciation. What has it been? 24 years. We heard rumor that you enjoy bed and breakfast, and I heard rumor you needed some time off in a way. So I figured what better place than Carmel. So it's sort of an all expenses paid trip, unless your expenses exceed the amount that we bring. I've heard that before. With that, I can say thank you. It's been a few years we've worked together, and what do you say? Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for establishing. And then we have a retrospective, which you don't have to say to watch, you know how that could be.